Atlanta. Welcome to Veterans Today. You are listening to the new WCEG Network. We speak power in the community. We are the worldwide community empowerment group. As I say, this program is Veterans Today. I'm one of the co-hosts, Herman Anderson. My other co-host, uh, Anthony Aiken, is on his way. Today, our guest is Mr. Forrest Gibbes, U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel retired. And after we get through the necessary housework, I will introduce him and we will get rolling with our topic. We are a nonprofit. You can contact us at 404-490-8646, 404-490-8646, and that being WCEG Network. We also would like to make this disclaimer. The topics and opinion are those of the show host, not the guests. And you have several options of tuning in, watching us, and watching us later. You can watch us we're live stream. You can also watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can go to WCEG Talk Radio, www.WCEG Talk Radio, and we are live streaming, as I said. Again, my name is Herman Anderson. Our co-host Anthony Aiken is on his way, and our guest today is Mr. Forrest Gibbes, a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, and let me give you his brief introduction, then I'll ask him to continue with it. Forrest Gibbes is a retired Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army, originally from Lake City, South Carolina, and currently resides in Marietta, Georgia. There's a coincidence that our co-host, Anthony Aiken, is from South Carolina also. We'll get to that when he get here. Having served 35 plus years of honorable service, both as a military service member and Army Civil Service in the Adjunct General Corps, Mr. Gibbes also served in various leadership capacities throughout his distinguished military career. Upon his retirement from the United States Army, Mr. Gibbes was recruited by Heartland Financial, a field marketing organization based out of Blue Springs, Missouri, with a focus and footprint in Medicare, the Medicare industry. Mr. Gibbes has since become a major leader in personal production and procurement for many veterans seeking Medicare Advantage plans. He's based out of Alpharetta, Georgia, and leads the Medicare agency comprised of 18 members. He's a life member of the AMVETS, VFW, American Legion, AUSA, also a member of the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Mr. Gibbes, good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. Fabulously fine, great, and fantastic.
So based on the introduction, would you like to add to that, go into discussion?
Yes, pretty much we focused on veterans and Medicare. And originally what has happened is simply when I retired, I was contacted to facilitate trying to bring a new plan that was designed by two of the major carriers in the Medicare footprint to be the voice, to be the one who had the boots on the ground and boots in the trenches experience, to be able to communicate that message directly to the veteran consumer market that's in the retirement age moving forward. So they felt compelled that I would be the voice of recognition, the voice that can really connect to those veterans, to be able to speak the same language, who has come from the same background. So that's how they ended up recruiting me from a LinkedIn resume package, and they felt that I had the right ideal qualifications and skill set background from the U.S. Army to be a success in the Medicare footprint. So pretty much they called it better than I could have called it myself, because I could not see the writing on the wall. So here I am after 4 years of doing it from the standpoint of being introduced to Medicare upon my retirement, then going into the industry. I've been very successful in terms of communicating this product, being able to communicate it directly to my fellow brothers and sisters in arms with great success.
Okay. That's to me, I'm a veteran. I'm was in 4 years. I'm not a retired veteran, so I'm I am on disabilities. But to begin down this road, I've had this Medicare for veterans explained to me, and I still don't understand it. So let's start at how it works if you are a retired veteran. Who does it? What veteran does it apply to? All veterans or some veterans?
Okay, it pretty much applies to all veterans in terms of the educational standpoint. My job is very simple. My job is to educate, inform, give you my professional recommendation and my professional advice. So what I basically have done, I've transferred what Command and General Staff College have taught me in line with briefing general officers through what is called the Common Operating Picture, better known as COP. So we designed a communication package to be able to communicate in very simple language. So therefore, you can make an educated and informed decision based on facts, no hype, no fluff. Then your common sensibilities will come to the forefront, and it's going to support your educated and informed decision based on those facts. So when you look at it from the aspect to keep this thing simple, we take you through the roadmap from the beginning. So if you are a retired military veteran, you have TRICARE for life at the age of 65, but you cannot continue with TRICARE for life unless you have Medicare Parts A and Part B. Part A covers your hospital, Part B covers your doctor visits and your outpatient. However, in order for you to maintain TRICARE for life upon the age of 65, or upon you qualifying for Medicare, you must purchase the Part B. And the Part B for 2024 is $174.70 a month. So therefore, that's for that TRICARE for lifer. Then you have those folks that are dependents from the 100% VA disability compensation. They will have what is called CHAMP VA. So when you look at TRICARE for life, it pretty much mirrors CHAMP VA for those dependent family members. So therefore, you also have a prescription drug plan with TRICARE. You have a prescription drug plan with CHAMP VA, and it's called Express Scripts. So therefore, those are two scenarios right there. Then we also can give you a scenario of the 100% VA disability compensated veteran, as well as the veteran who uses the VA healthcare system exclusively. So those are the four scenarios that we cover down on. And then we're able to help those military veterans maximize their healthcare benefits moving forward and reduce their out-of-pocket costs for healthcare. In some instances, we've been able to save $13,000, $15,000 in 1 year for veterans who are overspending. And 99% of us veterans are overspending when we do not have to. And the only reason why we're overspending is because we simply don't know what we just don't know.
Let's talk about the veteran that used the VA health program exclusively. How does that work for him or her?
Okay, it works for him from the standpoint, in order for him to open up his medical options, not only from the VA standpoint, but open it up from being able to go to a hospital on the outside or a doctor on the outside. it gives them additional benefits. So once we identify how the individual is securing his prescription drugs, such as if he's getting 100% of his prescriptions from the VA hospital, then what is happening is this. He will ideally be able to maximize his healthcare benefits in conjunction with Medicare if, in fact, he decides to go ahead and seek the option B that will help maximize those options. And then in turn, we can reduce that optional B cost in some cases up to 100%, depending upon the zip code within the country. So it's zip code dependent. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So if a veteran is currently retired and using well, you mentioned, yes.
Okay, what happens in that scenario is this. Remember, you cannot have TRICARE for life unless you have both Parts A and Part B of Medicare. So therefore, when you go to the doctor, when you go to the hospital, your claim is automatically processed and paid for upon your visit. So therefore, you pay nothing out of pocket for medical. However, you still have your Part B premium in the amount of $174.70 a month in the state of Georgia. Well, in the whole United States, except for those folks that have what is called the IRMA, the income rate that's higher than the threshold. But at any rate, the annual savings that you can incur from your Part B would end up being zero because you have no way of recouping those funds that are expended for your Part B expenditure. However, you also have your prescription drug plan, which is Express Scripts. And the ideal thing about Express Scripts is simply it does not have a donut hole. Now, what I mean when I say it does not have a donut hole, you still have a threshold each year associated with the cost for prescription drugs. And that's coming out not only from the medical provider portion, as well as the individual portion. So as an example, once you hit the threshold, as an example, of $5,100 for those prescriptions for that year, then you enter the donut hole. When you enter the donut hole, then the copays go up 25% in terms of your out-of-pocket expenditure for the remainder of the year. But since you do not have a donut hole with Express Scripts, you're not going to have to concern yourself with that increase in copays. Therefore, you're able to keep your costs at the very lowest out-of-pocket expense for prescription drugs. And then on top of that, yes.
What about TRICARE Prime? How does it affect TRICARE Prime?
Okay, TRICARE Prime is for those folks that are still either under the age of 65, or they could be on active duty TRICARE Prime or TRICARE Select. So the monthly premium may be in some cases $29 a month, but you're still getting a discount for healthcare to serve those active duty components as well as those folks who are under the age of 65. But once you reach age 65, then you're getting into TRICARE for life. Make sense?
Yeah, so basically people that on TRICARE Prime, it's not for them until they reach a certain age.
Exactly. What happens is you qualify for TRICARE Prime, TRICARE Select, as long as you're under the age of 65. But when you reach age 65, that's when everything transitions to TRICARE for life. But in order for you to qualify for TRICARE for life, for those folks that are retired or married to someone who's retired from the military, that's how you meet your qualifications. Okay. Then for those that did not retire, or they may have 100%, then you still qualify. We just have to look at each case scenario on a case-by-case basis. But in most cases, we can save the individual and maximize his medical options.
Okay. Trying to put this in different age brackets. So if a
Okay,
person, so if a person is still in the military, that's we're not talking about that. We're talking about once someone retires.
exactly. That's correct.
Okay.
And we're talking about once they reach the eligibility for Medicare. And that's why it's called Veterans and Medicare. And oftentimes we either have misinformation, information overload, and these plans changes from year to year in some cases. So you got a large variety of plans throughout the marketplace. And oftentimes veterans make wrong decisions as pertaining to their selection of a health plan, such as a Medicare Advantage plan with a Medicare Advantage prescription drug. Anytime you have a prescription drug that's part of a Medicare Advantage, what it will do is it will automatically cancel out your Express Scripts. So for those folks who have VA or TRICARE for life, you would be making a terrible decision when you make that decision to purchase a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan, because it cancels out your prescription drug plan that you have with TRICARE or that you have with Champ VA.
Okay. Brother Anthony, are you
How are
live?
you? Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. And welcome there, Mr. Gibbes.
Yes,
And
it's a pleasure.
welcome. And you're with a great young man there, Herman Anderson. I apologize. I'm one of those veterans that still struggle with some of my disability issues. And the VA said, I think it's a good idea for you to come on in today. So I followed their advice, and that's why I'm a little late right now. I'm still close to the VA, but I couldn't miss the show. Couldn't miss the show. I just have a greatness for this show and the people associated with it. So I appreciate you coming on and answering. You know, your comments about the Medicare Advantage is spot on. Because
Yeah.
I know of some veterans that were, you know, they get caught up into the money kind of thing by saying we can save you this, we can save you that, but they don't know and understand the fine printing or the fine print behind it that could affect their family situation, et cetera. Because I know, for instance, my wife is deeply involved with Express Script. I'm involved with Express Script, and all those things come to my home in my mailbox. So
Exactly.
I'm not too concerned about that money aspect that they try to throw out there to you to get you to get involved with it, because they really don't give you the background details as you just expressed to our listeners. So it's important that they understand, as we say all the time, the rules of engagement to make sure they make the right decisions for themselves and their family.
Right, right. If I can just caveat that, if I can just caveat it, simply this: if you follow what we do when we communicate through the common operating picture, then what we do is we take you through a laydown as to what you currently have and what you can have based upon the knowledge that you've just obtained. Most folks are making decisions, but they're not making educated and informed decisions based on facts.
Correct.
What we do is we try to put the emotions on the shelf and focus on a rational, understanding, common sense approach to communicating the benefits for veterans. The benefit is for you. It's already been paid for by you based upon your service to this country. So the package was approved through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, whereas you can get this program with no out-of-pocket monthly premium. And then you end up adding on dental, vision, hearing, over-the-counter in some cases, as well as silver sneakers, which is your gym membership. So when you go to the gym in your local zip code or local area such as LA Fitness, you don't have a monthly membership cost associated with it because you're part of this plan package. Then in some cases, we're going to turn around and also return 85% of your premium dollars that you paid towards your Part B. And in some zip codes, we can get you 100% return of your own money. So therefore, you end up maximizing your health benefits, and you end up reducing your Part B in some cases at 100%.
Let me from what I understand, there was or is open enrollment for Medicare now until March. But
Okay,
my
what you have is,
understanding my understanding is there was an adjustment made, and it gives the the people that sell insurance and Medicare the option to call you, because my phone has been blowing up. So what changed this year that that put that opportunity out there?
okay,
You muted.
You're muted, yeah. Unmute. Mr. Gibbes, can you unmute? We can't hear you.
what do they call it, forums? Whereas you
Okay, we
got
lost you for a
companies that
minute.
ballroom company approach, and they are paid to call you, even though it's in violation of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services rules and guidelines. So what we do is we do impersonal, face-to-face type presentations for veteran services organizations such as the AMVETS, the VFW, the American Legion, the DAV, as well as we have designed and developed a model for a monthly, well, maybe frequently, travel symposium for the combination of the VA benefits, representatives from VA, as well as us to come in and talk veterans benefits, the concrete factors that veterans need in terms of the information so they can help themselves reduce their expensive overspending in itself.
We kind of missed a little bit of it because you were muted. So to be as clear as possible, tell us how you just gave us, we missed the beginning. Tell us how your organization functions and what your charges are, just
Okay.
just how your organization functions.
Okay, we pretty much function. We have relationships and associations with veteran service organizations who have endorsed us. We also have quarterly conferences that we go to with some of the veteran service organizations, such as the American Legion. I was an invited platform guest speaker at the National American Legion Conference, or the National Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, to educate veterans on veterans and Medicare. I am the lead, they say I am the lead expert with regard to how it works and how to maximize those benefits for the veterans and reduce that out-of-pocket cost, because most veterans are uneducated as it pertains to veterans and Medicare. So we also do one-on-one face-to-face type sessions. We do it over the telephone. We do it via Google Meets, Zoom, as well as we invite folks to our lovely offices here in Atlanta, Georgia, here near the Brave Stadium. We have a local facility here, whereas we will invite appreciation, or we will welcome and have luncheons for our existing clientele to bring a buddy along so they can come and have a nice meal and get to socialize, and then get a informational training session or exercise through the common operating picture to educate them on veterans and Medicare as one of our social settings. So we send out invitations, and we do lunch and learns as well.
That's all. Let me ask you a question. Maybe since I was on a little late, you may have addressed this, but let's give you a scenario, because we want to educate our veterans as much as possible. So let's give you a scenario of, and dealing with the Medicare Part B, A, B, and all that kind of stuff, for them to make an informed decision. So let's say you have a veteran who's just received his or her 100% disability rating. That veteran has also been rated as total and permanent, which means no more examination, etc. And on top of that, based on their disability, is now receiving unemployability from the VA. And then on the top side of that, that veterans also getting his Social Security benefits, but because of his disability, can also receive his Social Security disability. What advice would you give a male or female veteran with those types of ratings and background in regards to what you're talking about, making sure that they make the right decision for themselves and their family?
Okay, the advice I would give him is simply this: 100% means just that, 100%. In other words, if a veteran who's 100% permanent disability, if he has to pay anything out of pocket for his health care, as it pertains to him as well as his family, household members, he has the opportunity to file the appropriate claim action for full reimbursement at 100%, period. No questions about it. That's the benefit of him having that 100%. Many veterans, even though they have the 100%, they don't understand, or they're not aware of the claim responsibility that exists for them to submit the appropriate claim to the appropriate agency at the appropriate time to get the appropriate refunded type expenses that they paid out. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So we help veterans understand that, and we walk them through the process. We give them everything that they need in what is called our portfolio packet. So if they forget everything that we talked about, they can go back to our portfolio packet, the common operating picture, and follow the yellow brick road, no different than the scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, what 100% veteran, and what I take away from this is you still need to monitor your records and make sure you do your homework, else you're probably leaving money on the table.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the key point, Herman. A lot of veterans, like Mr. Gibbes stated, are leaving money on the table because they're not informed. They don't really know the roadmap. They don't know that yellow brick road to follow. And because now, our guest on was 2 weeks ago, talked about VSOs need to be certified. Maybe some of the VSOs don't know all the information. You know what I mean? They don't know the information. So individuals like Mr. Gibbes and his organization is just paramount for our guests listening today, because it's money on the table. And you said something earlier. This is something that you earned. You earned this. It's not a gift.
Exactly. But if you do not take advantage of it, eventually when they look at the numbers, they will get rid of it or eliminate it. That's why it's paramount that we get the communication channels delivered to the individuals who need the information, who need it most, and that's us veterans.
And this is so important right now. But Mr. Gibbs, would you give your phone number and email right now, because that's a hot button, and we'll get it again at the end of the show. But I think for those listening right now that want to scribble it down, and what is the best number in your email to talk to you about this scenario?
My phone number is 858-774-7327, 858-774-7327. The website is www.gracehealth.com, gracerosehealth.com. We have offices in both Alpharetta and Atlanta, Georgia. We serve 23 states. And on top, the email address.
I think we lost him. Herman? I think we lost him.
We did.
I believe we did.
Yeah, because it was breaking up. I really couldn't understand what he was saying. But again, I don't know if you picked up his numbers or not, but that's a hot button subject right there in regards to money on the table. We have so many veterans in those kinds of scenarios that are just not informed.
Well, that is a hot button in education. What we talked about. If you have disability, if you are receiving compensation, a lot of veterans, you and I know, you just can't, for several reasons, you just can't put it on automatic.
No.
No, you're losing money, and eventually they're gonna downsize you. So they're gonna
Right.
cut you. So
They'll cut you.
you
They'll cut you in
need
a
to.
heartbeat. Yeah.
So,
They'll
so
they'll they'll cut you, and before you know it, they'll cut you that quick. And then for you to try and go back and refile, it'll take you another 2 years.
you you exactly you
You know,
exactly.
it's a bad, bad scenario. So I hope Mr. Gibbes comes back online because man, I like his energy. His energy is great,
Well,
and
no,
I'm sure I'll miss
it
him
is, and it no, it's to me it expands what we've been talking about.
all the
No,
time. Yeah,
not only getting through the claim process, but also the other benefits of being a veteran. And once you have, if you're retired and not even in the disability portion of it, there are still other benefits that are available to veterans. And I think a lot of organizations don't focus on that, and that's
I tell you what, like your phone's been blowing up. My email gets blown up just about every day about information regarding to benefits and compensations for veterans, either from the regional office or whatever, dealing with housing, dealing with mortgaging, dealing with insurance, dealing with various healthcare, dental, the whole 9 yards. I actually, Herman, I just received, as not no more than 5 minutes ago, an email from a dentist who just recently retired from the National Guard, Reserve component. And right now he's concerned about how do I even start the process of getting my compensation and disability? He doesn't know. He doesn't have a clue to how to deal with that maze. So now we're going to have to educate him about finding the right veteran service organization to talk to, and especially one that have already been certified and verified to give him the accurate information that he needs to move forward. But the basic thing that he'll need to do now is, if he has not compiled his medical records, to get that together and then go and request a disability examination just to get the process started.
I mean, that connects to, like, say, Germany Walker, which we had 2 weeks ago, which
Correct.
is VSO, Veteran Service Officer. We
Correct.
need more of those, and it's a tough job because
It's a
I'm
tough
trying to
job.
get some now, and
It's a tough job. Yeah, it's a tough job too. And a lot of veterans are older, they're not computer savvy or have capabilities to get to their appointments, or they're dealing with caregiving situations. There's so many different scenarios that's going around in regards to veterans and their current conditions, that you're going to really need to have a good crew of people around that understands the system to help him or her get the benefits and compensation that they deserve.
Well, it's no, I found out it as they say in marketing, know your audience. We have different segments. I believe the ones that transition at this time, number one, they have the technology. Number two, the transition process is pretty good for them. But you have us, and you have the one, like, say, from the National Guard,
Right.
that has no assistance. So
None. Nada. You know what I mean? And I when I read his message, I really felt a little saddened for him that he spent all of these years in the military providing the services that he was asked to provide. But yet, when it was time to leave, like he said before, you go through the, well, we call it the TAP program, and we're going to transitioning act program. But now you may get 15 minutes of talk about VA disability, where you and I retired, we got 5. you're out there on your own trying to deal with such a bureaucratic monster that is overwhelming. When I was in the VA hospital today, and my vision is not all that great, but it felt crowded. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many veterans in that building going there to get help.
Well, it is crowded. I was in a meeting this week where someone pointed out the Congress passed the PAC Act, and they encourage veterans to file to get, if you don't have a claim, to file one. If you have one, to upgrade it to make sure so you're covered by the PAC Act. So the VA system, as you and I have been talking about for years, was already overloaded.
It's overloaded.
So, I mean, it's almost it's worse. I just leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're back, sir. Could you once again repeat your contact information, because you were breaking up quite a bit? What is your phone number again, and your email for our listeners?
And unmute, please.
You're muted. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Now you were muted before, so what's your
Okay,
number
the phone
again?
number is 858-774-7327, 858-774-7327. The email address is Federal Ben Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo Romeo Alpha Lima Bravo Echo November @gmail.com. And the website is www.gracerosehealth.com.
Thank you very much.
I got another hot topic I want to talk about. Social Security. How does that fit in with your system?
Okay, everything that's processed through the process of veterans upgrading their Medicare, it has to go through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Once everything goes through, everything is authenticated and verified from the carrier directly to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Once they stamp everything's approved, then they automatically will communicate it directly to the Social Security office, which means that the Social Security would then send a letter to that beneficiary, that Medicare beneficiary, to let them know the status on their new transaction, the amount of the transaction reduction, as well as the new monthly reduced premium and the effective date. So all of this is coordinated through the carrier, through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is the final authority, before it then is disseminated with that transaction directly to Social Security. So it's all been coordinated. Then you have to have the appropriate licenses to be able to validate it and process it. Anything that doesn't add up or is not actually in the database to be authenticated and verified, they'll kick it out of the system.
So I've had comments, people, a veteran feeling since they are going to apply and get their Social Security, it's the opportunity to get involved with veteran Medicare is not good. What's your comment on that? Should veterans do both?
Say again now. Let me make sure I understand the question.
Should veterans that are in the getting Social Security also look into their opportunity with veteran Medicare program?
Okay, Social Security, you can accept your Social Security income as early as age 62.
Correct.
However, if you're earning a certain dollar amount, then you normally need or it's normally not advisable to start receiving the minimum required age when you're making a certain dollar amount in terms of income. But the key thing is this does not affect your Social Security from the standpoint of Medicare. Medicare is part of that Social Security network and family. So it's a different entity within that family of the entities with regards to CMS and the Social Security. Social Security has oversight over Medicare.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
makes sense. One thing veterans need to understand, because I had to learn that process myself in dealing with my VSO back in 2010, 2011. And once I received my VA rating, and at that time I was age 61, he encouraged me to move forward to Social Security to apply for my Social Security disability, which I could receive at the full benefit level, even though I was at age 61 going into 62. And veterans need to realize that there are two separate examination systems that they will have to go through. The VA has its own system for you to get your rating, but the Social Security also has its own disability rating system where you have to go to a Social Security appointed physician to be examined for them to rate you at that total disability level for Social Security. So they need to understand that. And it's possible because it happened to me and many others. They just need to know the process.
Okay, so to tie that into Medicare, anytime someone has been identified from the Social Security office as receiving Social Security disability income, 24 months, then the 25th month, they will automatically qualify for Medicare. That's regardless of age. So if you have been identified from the Social Security office and you're receiving a Social Security disability income, after 24 months, on the 25th month of receiving that Social Security disability income, you then become automatically eligible for Medicare. Make sense?
Yep.
And
Yes.
then you will get the red, white, and blue card automatically in the mail. And then you have the same benefits that you can take full advantage of, whether or not you're a veteran or in the general population.
I got the red, white, and blue. I got it.
Yes. And when you have that red, white, and blue, the next thing is for you to become educated on how to integrate TRICARE for Life, CHAMP VA, the 100% VA disability compensation, and the 100% of utilizing the VA healthcare system. You need to understand how that integrates with Medicare, so you as a veteran can maximize it and reduce your out-of-pocket costs moving forward.
And we need to have you on for a month, Herman.
We'll make
totally
ourselves available for you.
This is totally great information, man, because there's so many misnomers and misunderstanding out there about this system. And veterans get inundated weekly about opportunities with Medicare, Medicaid. They don't understand the difference, and then they're making wrong decisions. But today, as we stated at the beginning, we speak truth into the community. This is the truth.
Mm-hmm. And understand this, most Medicare brokers / agents, they don't specialize in veterans and Medicare. They normally have a general knowledge, and soon as you say that you have TRICARE for Life, they don't know what to do. They'll say you're good. So what happens is, oftentimes they don't understand how the veterans benefit package works. They don't know how to communicate the various scenarios with the respective veteran and doing it on a case by case, scenario by scenario, individual basis. All they have is general knowledge, but they're lacking the specialization needed to maximize a veteran's benefits. And that's where I come in. This is all we do exclusively is veterans and Medicare, period. In doing so, then we're able to reach many veterans. At the same time, they start utilizing that buddy system and the domino system regarding their family members, the military buddies from the past years. They pull them all into that rope, and then they reel them on into Forrest Gibbes. And we appreciate every minute of it.
So give us your contact information again.
Okay, the contact information is 858-774-7327. Again, 858-774-7327. We also have a 60-second commercial. If you'd like for me to send that to anyone's phone number, we can do that as well. And then we also have an interaction interview during the National American Legion National Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina that we did last year. So we have all of those documentations and everything that you perhaps can use to facilitate your understanding.
Well, I can tell you this, Mr. Gibbes, after this show, I'm going to give you a call at that 858 number, because there's some veterans that I know that need to really start speaking with you right away to make sure that they're making the right decision. So after the show, look forward to a call.
Right. And then if you would like an email, pretty much to help you understand how to navigate, we can provide that communication as well. Okay?
Okay, great.
Let our listeners know worldwide that we are WCEG Network. We speak truth in the community. We power the community. So veterans today, and we got about 10 minutes left. So let's wrap it up. Yeah,
there's a couple of things, Herman, in regards to the VA. The VA is going through some shortages as far as staff and personnel. So individuals who have appointments, please make sure that you follow through and keep that appointment, because they're now putting people 6 and 7 months out for appointments because they don't really have the staff. So if you're there, you got an appointment, make sure you make it. If you can't, please call. Just don't show up. Just please call and let them know, so they don't put in your records or your file a cancellation without some explanation behind it. So that's very, very important for you to know.
Actually, part 1A to what Anthony just stated is the VA claim system. You need to make sure you're in there. And since the PACT Act, the wait hadn't got shorter, it's gotten longer. There are more people in the system, and your wait time is longer before you even get a response. So in additional to what we were talking about earlier, it's part of the process in the VA system is that you have to. It's a friend of mine told me that helped me start my organization. My organization is Veteran Helping Veterans Headquarters of Atlanta. We're 13 years old. It's your job. It's a job. So if you want a payday, you're gonna have to work at it on a continuous basis. Those are my comments.
Yeah, very good comments, Herman, because you do a great job with your organization. And the likelihood of veterans, even Vietnam veterans, still struggling to get help. They still don't know about Agent Orange. They're still not in the Agent Orange database. They're not, fully educated in regards to, look, if you had boots on the ground and you served in one of the 4 core areas, there are presumption of illnesses that you don't even have to worry about anymore. And that list continues to get longer. And we have veterans that are dying and ill from prostate cancer and heart disease issues. I mean, all associated from being involved with Agent Orange during that horrific campaign we call Vietnam. So a lot of them out there struggling, but we need more Mr. Gibbes out there to continue to speak truth into the community. I'm going to make sure that some of the veterans I know reach out to you to be informed, get them some help.
Okay, we greatly appreciate everything you can do for us.
Well, one other comment, this is we're a nonpartisan organization, is veterans vote. And we as veterans, a lot of most decisions that are made that affect the budget, the VA, our healthcare, are made in Washington. They're made by our representatives. they're made by VA headquarters in Washington. So what I'm saying is we need to know who we and understand who we're sending to Washington.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
big time, big time. Who we're sending in? You know, you take a look across the board. A number of our elected officials don't have a military background. They don't have a clue. They've never had the boots on the ground or the rucksack or, you know, MRE. What is an MRE? They don't know what that is. You know what I mean? So, but they're making decisions that affect veterans and their families. And I'm so happy now that a lot of the old cases where veterans were kicked out of the Army with dishonorable discharges are being relooked because it's affected families for generations, and their families that look like us, and they're the ones that are greatly affected. So I'm very happy that there's a movement now to take a look at that, to revisit it, to give these veterans and their families an opportunity to receive benefits and compensation that they've earned. That's important to me. So do you have any alibis for us, Mr. Gibbes? Because our time's getting short. And we'll make sure that we give you the opportunity.
The only alibi I would have is simply this. We help veterans of Medicare reduce their spending costs for health care. Every time we open the door to the right health plan, we open the door to the right care, the right support, and the right combination of benefits. When it comes to veterans, it matters to us even more so. It's our chance to give back to those who sacrificed so much for us. Millions of veterans are counting on our guidance. I thank you for having me. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure to meet you all's acquaintance.
I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. He's good. He's good.
Anthony.
Yes.
He's also from South Carolina.
That's why he's good. I'm originally Mr. Gibbes from Charleston, South Carolina.
Well, at least you know how to cook a frog. You know, if you put him in hot water, he'll jump right back out. But if you put him in cold water and you gradually ease the iron from lukewarm to warm and hot, that frog will be cooked before he realizes what happened. Then by the time he does realize it, it's too late for him to do anything about it. That's how we cook a frog.
He's done. I love it.
All right. Well, Anthony, will you close us out?
Oh, sure. I'd like to say thank you again, Mr. Gibbes, for being on our show. But before we do anything, we got to say and give some kudos to our major support group. That's Ms. Penny Rogers, who's the founder of the WCEG Network, and Ms. Vivian Greer, who's our former military, who keeps us together, keeps us on our P's and Q's, and make sure that we do the right things with our clients. So on behalf of Ms. Rogers and Ms. Greer, we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to giving good information to our veterans, and we look forward to you coming back again. And we're going to share your information with other veterans so they can give you a call in your office to answer questions that they may have. Again, okay. I salute you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, there.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. And this Air Force guy had to put up with all these Army guys today.
Well, I was about to tell you that, Mr. Gibbes, he doesn't understand who. You're kind of over the head with that one. He didn't quite understand that, but you know, I'm keeping them together all these years.
Okay, all right, keep them grounded.
Well, you know those fly boys, they like to fly.
Right. Okay.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. Veterans Today, WCEG Network. Please tune into our other programs during the day and the evening. Thank you very much.